Welcome to a new episode of Triggre Weekend Masterclass, and today I'm going to show you how to connect PDFMonkey via Zapier to your Triggre application. And I've already prepared the functionality, so I can show you rather quickly how to do it. First, I'm going to show you what we've created in the designer of Triggre. Then I am going to show you what we've created in Zapier and in PDFMonkey, and at the end I'm going to show you how everything works from the normal application of Triggre, so we can fire PDFMonkey, send data to it, and receive a document back from PDFMonkey. So let's go to the designer first. What I have created is a simple test data item called PDF file, and it has 4 properties, namely the file, an ID, a name of a person, we will send that to PDFMonkey, and a trigger to trigger Zapier to send it to PDFMonkey, which is sent to Zapier. Furthermore, I have created an automation flow because as soon as PDFMonkey has created the file, we need to receive it back from PDFMonkey via Zapier. So I've created a web API connection, not a Zapier connection, but a web API connection to receive the PDFMonkey file. And it has 2 inputs, as you can see. The ID, because I would like to link the PDF file to the original Triggre, and the PDF file itself called PDF. Also, I've created a flow part to assign the PDF file that we received from PDFMonkey to the initial record. So that's what I use the ID for. Of course, I've also created a user flow to be able to execute this test. I've created an add PDF file page, which after it's been created, I update right away so it gets triggered by Zapier. I've also created an edit PDF file page to trigger the trigger to PDFMonkey manually. That's what we created in the designer. I also already published it to our lab environment. So let me show you what I've created in PDFMonkey. I've created a template called, in this case, Triggre Weekend Masterclass. It's a very simple template. It only states hello and the name of the person that we are going to send via our Triggre application. And as you can see, it shows hello, in this case as test Parker, exclamation mark. You can also see the test data here. So this is also the specification of the JSON interface and all the parameters and values that you need to send to PDFMonkey. However, in this case, we're going to use Zapier, which makes it a little bit easier. So what have we created in Zapier? I've created a Zap, which first of all gets triggered based on a data change in Triggre. Then we generate the document in PDFMonkey and also transmit the name to PDFMonkey. PDFMonkey generates the document and we send that back to Triggre using a custom request in webhooks by Zapier. So we're going to use a web API to send it back to Triggre. The reason why we need to do that is because PDFMonkey transmits the file as a URL. And it doesn't transmit it as a file, so we cannot send it back using Zapier. We have to do that by using the web API. So let me edit this Zap to guide you through the creation process of this interface using Zapier. It all starts with the data change event in your Triggre application. So as soon as something changes, this one is fired. We have to select an account, of course, and we have to define a trigger. And in this case, that is the data item PDF file that I've created before in the designer. And when the data is edited, it's being sent. I'm not going to test it in this case because I already have a test case. But after that, we need to add the PDFMonkey Zap connection to this Zap. And we are going to create a document or generate a document. Of course, I have to link my account to it. And the action that we need to configure is the workspace and the template that we're going to use. Well, in this case, the template is the Triggre Weekend Masterclass. And as I explained, we are going to send a name of a person to this document, and we have to define that. So you can easily add multiple variables here, but in this case, we only need the variable name, and we are going to use the name of a person transmitted by the data change trigger of Triggre itself. This is all we need to set up. After this, PDFMonkey will generate the document, and we need to interface this document back to Triggre. And we are going to use a custom request for that. So like I said, custom request. I have to define the URL of the interface that is provided by Triggre, which I created in the designer, which in this case is called Receive PDFMonkey. And after that, I have to configure or define the data that needs to be sent to the interface. So we're going to create a JSON message so that we can send back the PDF to our system. So we have two inputs, the ID, and we also have the input PDF. Well, the ID is the ID that we first of all transmitted via Triggre, and the PDF is the PDF generated by PDFMonkey. And like I said, it gives the generated document as a response as a URL. So it's a downloadable URL, and it also gives a name. And we need both. Triggre will automatically turn that URL into an actual PDF. So no worries about that. And we'll add the name to the file as well. We've set up the Zap, and now we can try to generate a document. So if we go to the actual application, I have an overview here with PDF files. I'm going to add a new record. That record will be sent to Zapier. The document will be generated and it will be sent back to our system. So let's say add, the name of the person is Triggre Weekend Masterclass. I'm not going to add a file here. I'm going to click Done. And as you can see here, we have ID number 2. The name of the person is Triggre Weekend Masterclass, and we don't have a file yet because it's currently generated by PDFMonkey. So if I go to the Zap that I have and I click on History, we can see that the Zap is running. There you go. And it has been successful. So if we go back to our application and we refresh, there you go, the file is there. And if I open it, you'll see that it shows Hello Triggre Weekend Masterclass. Do you see this button over here or there? Well, somewhere, hit it and you will be notified.